let's bring on Harold, and I'm sure all of you guys have pen, piece of paper, and want to take some notes. But Harold, if you can come on, kind of introduce yourself to everyone, for everyone that doesn't know you, kind of where you came from, your background, and let us know how you do what you do, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, yeah, my name is Harold, and I've been in the industry for quite a long time. It's been 15 years. Started in '09. I was at a previous company, captive company, and I was there for 12 years. So I've been here 2.5 years now. So I'm still a rookie. As much as everybody thinks like, okay, wrote a lot, doesn't mean I'm a veteran or anything. I'm still a rookie. I still have a lot to learn. So, yeah, it's way different from what I'm used to or what I was used to. 12 years of programming, being at a captive company and trying to get that out of my head was really, really difficult, and just really I had I think I talked about this. Like I came in here with even a bad, like not necessarily a bad attitude, but I came in with the attitude of like, oh, I know what I'm doing. And I had a nice rude awakening when when I thought 12 years, I know what I'm doing, and then boom, nah, you are day one rookie, starting over, fresh. And it's always hard, when you've been doing something for a long time and having to go back to being a rookie. It's really hard, but you have to always remember, especially if it doesn't matter what industry you've ever been in, if you've ever trained somebody, what's the first thing we tell them is, yo, you got to be coachable. And that was one thing when I started. I was like, I know what I'm doing. I got this. I'm good. Just put me in front of a client. I'm good. I'll figure it out. And I wasn't even listening to my own advice, right? It was crazy. And I worked with Isaiah Academy, and he really, he was listening to my like talk to clients presentation wise. I was like, what are you saying? Like, why are you saying that? And I was like, I don't know, dude. I have no idea. I don't know why I'm saying this. So I had to really take that step back. And again, it's hard. And for anybody who's ever been in the industry for a long time, having to take that step back, I mean, everybody knows it's not easy. But you have to follow your own advice, especially when you're a leader. And that's kind of what put me in this position is because student mentality. I went to being a student, call everybody and ask everybody every question. It was funny at the convention, people are asking me for numbers. I even stopped Frank. I was like, "Yo, Frank, come here, man. I need your number." He was like, "Get over here, dude. I need your number, dude." That's what it takes. All the information is free. Everybody's willing to help. I just took advantage of it. They're like, I'm like, "Are you sure I could call you?" Like, all right, I'm gonna call you every week until I get enough, and then I'll call you. I'll change it from once a week to maybe once every other week and once a month. But that's what I did. I called everybody, bugged them, asked every single person questions. And that's what helped me get to learn faster. So that student mentality.
Harold, why do you think it's so hard for you to do that? For you to go from believing you got it all down to going to the student mentality of I don't know jack.
Ego.
Ego.
E Pure ego of just thinking like I know what I'm doing, 12 years of experience. You can't teach me how to talk to clients. I already know how to do that. I already know insurance. I know what I'm talking. Nope, wasn't true at all. I mean, yeah, it does help, right, to know, the differences with the different types of policies, like whole life term, universal, and all that stuff. It was great. It was great. I knew that stuff, but it was such a different approach to talking to clients that and it's funny because everybody's asked, like, how was your first year? It was rough. It was really rough. It hurt. It hurt to be, at the last company when you're like top guy and then come here and having to get humbled down to like, yo, you have done nothing yet. Go back to being a student, and that right there, it'll hit anybody's pride, right? Anybody who's done something for a long time. But at the end of the day, I always tell my agents and everybody this: at the end of the day, who it doesn't matter who helps you, period. You can ask anybody and everybody for help. Guess where the paycheck still goes to your account. What does it matter?
Hmm.
Who cares who taught you? Who cares if it's just you're still getting they're helping you get paid. What does it matter? So it was hard. I could tell you that, and I'm sure there's probably some people on here who probably still have that same mentality of like, I know what I'm doing. I'm good. I got this. You don't ask the help. I get the help. Even for me, like I said, even right now, I got all these people. Now I'm bugging everybody. I was running around looking for people. I was like, I gotta find this person, this person, this person. I need your number, your number, your number, your number. right? You figure out what people are good at, and then I bug them like crazy. Like Dom, I'm gonna blow his phone up real soon. He called me, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna blow you up, dude. So
Right.
you too, Frank. I said the same thing. I'm blowing you up. Why? Because there's knowledge that I need to attain still, and I'm gonna keep doing it. So
I love it.
Harold, I
So
have a
what,
question. I got a
go ahead, Mike.
question. When you first came aboard, were you always doing mortgage protection, or what were you doing at the beginning, and then when did it change?
that is a great question. I love that one. So when I first started, I came from a captive company. We did a lot of final expense. So again, I thought I'm gonna go do final expense. Yeah, I did it. It was hard. It was rough. And then I did a whole bunch of live transfers. Okay. I just live transfer, live transfer, live transfer, trying to figure it out. But the thing is, the reality is with like live transfers, you gotta have a bankroll for it. If you don't have a bankroll for it, you can't survive. Right. So I would kill myself on bankroll wise just trying to do live transfers, right? You doing like 75 bucks, $100 a call, it's rough,
Yeah.
right? Because I wanted to go to a comfort. What was comfortable? Which is final expense, kind of generalized life insurance. It was comfortable for me. But then you look to your left and your right, a whole bunch of people doing mortgage. And I'm like, they're like, do mortgage. And I'm like, I don't know. I've never done that. Not comfortable with it. Not going to try it. And I just kept doing what I was doing. I did. Oh, then that's also why it prevented me from doing well because I wasn't versatile, right? I wasn't learning. I was kind of confining myself to one little market, which I thought I knew, you know what I mean? And I had to really get out of my comfort zone and try something different, because I didn't quote unquote understand the presentation. I steered away from it, right? I just kind of like, I'm not going to do it instead of just listening to everybody and just dive in. Just do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? Client says no to you.
What was the first resource that you started looking at to learn mortgage protection, start doing that product?
Every single video on YouTube. I literally watched everything. I went back like 2 years worth of videos, 3 years worth of videos. I even found a video where Sean was doing like a semi mock presentation. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's how long ago I went back, and I took some stuff from it. Kind of, again, just going back and just watching it, watching all these videos. It helped me get out of my own head and go, okay, it's actually a little more simple than I thought. Just by that.
I asked that question on purpose because I hear a lot of people, they'll come up and they'll say, my upline isn't teaching me how to do that, or they're not showing me how to do that. And it's great what you said. You said you watched a bunch of videos and kind of figured it out, which is awesome. Because I think if you're a winner and you're going to win, I think those kind of people, they're always going to find a way. It doesn't matter. So I love that answer. We have the best training out in the entire industry. You just have to be willing to go out and get it.
Yep.
And if you want to win, that's what you're going to do. You're going to go find it and get it and do what you got to do. So I love that.
Yeah, and it's free.
It's
It
great.
certainly is.
Free.
You have something for him, Frank?
Yeah. So did you make, so here's, I think a mistake a lot of people make is they go, all right, well, I'm going to start doing mortgage protection. Or I'm going to start doing IULs. And then they completely stop their bread and butter and struggle because they're trying to figure something new out. How did you make that transition from final expense, live transfers to mortgage protection, setting appointments? Are you doing telesales virtually? How'd you make that transition?
Yeah, good question. I work 100% telesales. I've never done an in-home with FFL ever. I did do Zooms in the beginning in the first week when I did start because I didn't know you could do telesales. Uh, I didn't realize that until after when they were like, "Why don't you just do it over the phone?" I'm like, "What do you mean we could do it over the phone? Are you kidding me right now?" So so I switched over to that. But what I did was because again, you see a lot of people writing mortgage protection. You see people doing really well at it. I basically burnt the bridge behind me of getting live transfers, closed it, shut it down, and then even with final expense, 'cause again, I'm comfortable. I already knew how to do that. So I burnt that bridge and was just like, okay, all of my leads are mortgage protection, period.
Wow.
So either I make it work or make it work. I gotta figure something out. And I'm gonna make as many mistakes as I possibly can, and I'll figure it out. I'm pretty sure. So that's all it is, right? If there's something that you fear or don't want to do, just dive completely in, and then at the end of the tunnel, you'll look back and be like, all right, I figured it out. We're good.
No,
Not hard.
no, it's not. But the mindset is what I think you burnt the bridge. So you were like, this is it. I'm either going to make it or I'm not.
Yeah.
And not making it really wasn't an option. Because again, I think a lot of people toe dip, and I'm good with that. Like I love that, just going, you know what, screw it. I'm burning the bridge. I'm going all in. Um, was there fear? Was there a little nervousness? Like, I mean, obviously you have a family, you have responsibilities, bills. Like, explain to me how you got mentally through that process, because I think that's a great way to go. But, again, I think it scares the hell out of a lot of people.
Yeah. I love that. So, most people, they work really well when their back's against the wall. Most people, right?
Mhm.
So, and I said this on stage at convention, and I said, one of my favorite quotes, and it's like right here above my head, is you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards. So I looked at it, I was like, okay, I've done a lot of different things. I've built agency, I've done everything I can think of, right? All like within the insurance space, right? From my last company and all and whatnot. So it was just a matter of getting back into that mentality of knowing, okay, if I just keep making the right decision every single day, right? Get up, go to work, make that call, you know, rebuttal that one more time, push myself again and again and again, that eventually I'm going to be able to look backwards and then see that I actually put in the work, right? So, yeah, you have to mentally put yourself in a position where, again, for me, it was I have to make this work, or I have to make this work, or there's no other option. There's no going back. There is no, I have two kids and a wife that depend on me. So what do I do? Do I just crumble and oh well and sit in the corner and cry about it, or just oh well, suck it up and keep going, right? And that's kind of what it was for me. Was I literally was like, this is I'm not gonna do anything else. I don't care what it takes, because there's no way. And I say this, like, nobody's better than me, right? At the end of the day, I'm like, that person's not better than me. That person's not better than me. I'm not better than you, right? But they're doing mortgage protection. They're writing a lot of business. Why am I not able to do that? Okay, I just need to do it. I need to go and put myself in a position. You always got to look left and right. Okay, this person's doing it, that person's doing it, and you see all the numbers, and you're like, okay, it's doable because there's proof, right? If there was no proof, then it would be a different story. But there's
Right.
proof, and like I said on convention, the playing field is even. I can get whatever leads I want. There was no like, the best leads, I could go get the best leads. It didn't really matter, right? I can go get whatever lead I want anytime I want, and then go to work. So you just got to have that mentality of, somebody's depending on you. I got 3 individuals depending on me, and I either have to come through or I have to come through. There's no
Yeah.
option to go backwards or fail or anything like that. It'll eventually happen,
Yeah.
right? Eventually you will get good. Okay. I'm somewhat of a slow learner sometimes, but eventually I know I will get good, period.
I love that. What does your wife do,
She
Harold?
works for a tech company.
Okay.
She also works from home, semi-hybrid.
So let me ask you this question. While you were going through these transitions, were you telling your wife like, "Oh, this isn't good," or "This may be terrible"? Or were you just kind of like doing your thing and keeping it to yourself?
Yes, I love that. So, I mean, for anybody who has a spouse, and it depends again on your support system. If I go to my spouse with some negative stuff, oh, she's gonna let me have it. So I can't go to her with bad news. I'm not going to. And I was like scared to give her bad news. So it's not gonna happen. I wasn't gonna do it. Right. And the thing is that when you have a spouse and you have a family and your kids and whatnot, you gotta have a great communication, like that line of communication has to be great with your spouse, your kids. Everybody has to be on the same page, right? It's for me, it's going to my spouse and here's the goals, here's what I'm trying to achieve. I need you to be on the same page as me. I'm gonna work, like I said again, convention, work-life compromise, right? We compromised. I said, hey, I'm gonna work as hard as I possibly can so we can do this. Okay. And I'm gonna do when it's family time, it's family time. When Mike called me, I was in Tahoe for our monthly weekend getaway. We do a monthly weekend getaway or some type of vacation, because that is my agreement to like with my spouse to go and say, hey, I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can so we can do a weekend getaway and do whatever we want.
That's
You know,
awesome.
for me, I don't have any rules to go whatever you want to do. Like Halloween, you want me to put on a weird, ugly costume? I'm for it because you let me do what I need to do. I'm 100% for it. We can do
Yeah.
whatever weird, little family activity. You want to have a paint night with the family? Cool, I'm with it, 100%. So that was like my agreement. Is like, I'm not going to resist on anything you want to do, right? And even at that, working hard, again, money doesn't buy happiness, does make it easier. So again, even that, taking vacations, we could do what we want. There is
Yeah.
like, we can pick whatever vacation we want. You can do those things because I work as hard as I possibly can, right? But we have that agreement. Even the kids, my kids are 4 and 5, so obviously they're gonna come down to daddy's office and want to be on the computer too and mess around. But she knows like, oh, daddy got to go to work.
Yeah.
You gotta. She pulls them away and says, okay, like today the kids are not at school, but she knows daddy got to work. This isn't. It's not that's the work-life compromise.
Yeah.
We just had a vacation, a little mini getaway. We got to do what we wanted to do.
Now, was there rules for that mini weekend getaway? Like you had to get to a certain spot before that started to happen?
Yeah, to a certain extent,
Okay.
right? And again, I don't want to give my wife bad news. I'm
Yeah.
not going to give her bad news. I'm not going to go to her and say, we can't do that mini getaway. Sorry. I don't want to do that, right? And I don't want that on my conscience, especially for my kids, right? We
Yeah.
took my kids, we went to the snow, the kids get to play in the snow and all that stuff. I'm not going to I don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
That the joy on your kid's face, the joy on your wife's face, your husband's face, whatever the situation is for your home. I don't want to miss that. I'm not going to let that. There is no option, right? It's going to work or it's going to work. So it's, yes, am I like at a point where I'm like, oh man, this isn't looking good, but you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. And then remember, that's always my why, right? At the end of the day, I take that weekend getaway. That's my why. It also keeps me level, keeps
Hmm.
my mind right. Because if I keep working, what happens to most people? You have resentment. You hate what you do because you
Burnout.
just keep
Yeah.
work. You burn out and it hurts, right? So for me, it's like I get that reset. And then now, like, okay, cool. I know this week I'm on a push week now, right? I came back from relaxing. Let's push so that next month when we do our weekend getaway or wherever our monthly thing is, I'm cool. I'm
Yeah.
good for it.
It
Harold,
So
allows you to relax and not
yeah,
feel all stressed out because you don't feel guilty when you're not working because you know you
yeah,
should be or you didn't hit your goals. I
I,
love your attitude. It's
yeah,
I have a question for him, Frank.
go ahead.
Harold, when you say work-life compromise, what does that look like? Just so people understand what that looks. What's your schedule each
yeah.
week? And was it always that way, or is this something new, or have you
Sure.
always had the same schedule?
Okay, my schedule has changed. In the beginning, when I first started, and it's not like that I recommend this, but I would work like crazy. I didn't care if it was a 6 a.m. appointment, 5 a.m. appointment. I'm in Pacific time zone, so you
Mhm.
guys know. So like, yeah, I'd work at East Coast at 5 a.m. I'll take it. I'll take it 9, 10 o'clock
But
p.m. I don't care. I'll
that's a
take it.
nugget right there.
No doubt.
In the beginning, that's important.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry
So
about that.
so how I looked at it was, again, and I had agents too and all that stuff coming over. And in my mind, I was like, all right, I have to learn this faster than everybody. I have to get through this, make all the mistakes, do all the bad things that you shouldn't do. I have to do it faster than everybody else, right? I could either elongate the process to 2, 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, or
Yep.
I can compress it and just really just go all in and compress it. Now, again, do I recommend it? Not necessarily, right? Unless you are used to that.
When you say
I
all
was
the
used to
time,
it.
what did that look like for you? How many hours a week? How many days
I
a
was
week?
I was killing myself. I was working every day. Like I would literally in the morning on the weekends before my kids wake up, all those things. I did it all. It'd be
Been there.
like, oh, I gotta go take an appointment. It's like 3 in the afternoon on a Saturday. I'm like, I gotta go take this appointment. 4, 5. Hey, we gotta get home by a certain time because I just did it. But again, that
After.
conversation was had, right? That
Love it.
conversation was already had.
Yeah.
This is what I have to do in order to get to where I need to be, right? So then as it kept, progressed, I
Yeah.
got better. right? I knew what I started understanding what I was doing. It took me a while, and then I finally came to a regular schedule, right? So I'll work a Monday through Friday, 100% guaranteed, okay? Non-negotiable, right? Those are non-negotiable days that I'm working. So I have a mental clock in, a mental clock out. Again, everybody has their own schedule, which is perfectly fine, based on your time zones, working different time zones, but you have to put a full day's work. I'm usually 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then if I stretch it a little further or I wait till I get yelled at, like that after 8 thing. So, but that's a non-negotiable for me, right? I'm working, period. Then on the Saturdays, depending on appointments, sure, I'll morning into mid morning, and then when my kids wake up or I get yelled at, then it's like, all right, I gotta go, right? But that's how it is now. I've gotten to the point where I can do that. I can do more in the time that I have, right? Because here's the thing with people, especially with your families, you have kids, you have a spouse, you're already taking the time away from your family, okay, to work. If you are not maximizing that time, what are you doing, right? You already took the time away from your family. You need to take the time that you have and maximize it and actually go to work. Don't sit there and just look around and just, what are you doing, Frank? What are you doing, Mike? No, go to work, right? You already took the time away, right? Time we don't get back, right? You can't go, man, I wish I would have made that extra call. Man, I wish I would have made that extra appointment. You don't want to have that attitude, right? I mean, you don't want to have to talk to yourself that way, right? Man, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. It's funny. It's like I have this post-it note on my computer, and it says this. I look at this every day. Would you fire yourself or would you give yourself a raise? If the answer is fire, you got to make the change to be better. It's on my right here. Every single day I look at this. And then my daughter also wrote me a note that said, "You work for me."
See, that's the stuff that gets you up in the mood. Now, let me ask you a question. How long did it take you to get out of that 7 days a week, no matter what it takes, till I get like, was it a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months?
Um, well, I was used to working like that, so I kept doing it because, again, trying to push myself to get better. So
Sure.
I was doing that for like a solid 3 to 4 months,
Okay.
and then I was like, okay, I'm getting the hang of it. I know what I need to do in every presentation. I know what I can do. Okay, so now let me refine my schedule and really take this hour to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do all the way through. Next hour doing what I'm supposed to do. Every single hour I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and making making the right decision. Right?
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Because it's always a decision. Everything that we do is a decision. Do I decide to call? Do I decide to, go and take a 2-hour lunch?
So
Right?
it's like you look at where Harold's at now, Mike, and it's brand new. Like you could say he's been in the business for 10 years. No, he started mortgage protection how long ago? A year ago?
But yeah, like a year and a
A year,
half-ish.
year and a half ago. So would you trade 6 months of your life working 7 days a week to be in a position Harold's in today? And if you all go yes, then what are we waiting on? Like, dude, this is so Mike, this is such a great call because it's so basic. I mean, it's really he made the decision to change his life and it's changed, right? It's done. Dude, I'm fired up,
There's
man.
very few people that I see come in and do that. So Harold took like a year of time and basically compressed it. It made probably a year and a half time and compressed it into 3 or 4 months. And I think people don't realize how powerful that is. Why go through the crap that we go through in this business and stretch it out over 2 or 3 years? Let's just get through it. Let's get through the garbage and get to the good times. And it sucks. It sucks bad. When I was brand new, Harold, Frank remembers I did 7 days a week, 6 months straight, every day, every day. And because I had to do it, but it allowed me to be able to get through the crap faster. I don't know why people want to stretch it out over 2 or 3 years, or they want to just stop. They're like, literally, I'm in hell right now. Rather than keep going, I'm just going to stop. I want to relax in hell because I like it here. Why not push through it? I don't get why people do it. They enjoy being there. Let's get there and then move as fast as possible and get through it. But I love that because it is powerful. And I know people are looking for like that nugget, but I think that's huge. And I love you sharing that, man. That's big.
What's crazy is that a lot of people come from, we all have got, again, we went to college, a lot of people went through college 4 years, don't use their degree. People who had another job that, they were there for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, absolutely hated the job, wasn't appreciated, didn't make any money, didn't have time with their family. Okay. And like you put in all that effort over there, like
Yeah.
here you get full control of everything. Okay. You make way more money and you're not putting that same effort. Like, what are you like? Come on. Right. You carved out 10 years, you got 4 years of your life to go to school and you don't even use your degree, whatever it is. Carve out 6 months. What's 6 months to you?
Right.
Like less than 1% of your life, not, 6 months of really pushing yourself so that you can live the way you want to for the rest of your life. Common sense, right? If you think about it in that sense now, right?
Yeah.
Carve out 6 so that the next years are going to be great.
I see way too many people that get involved with this and they come in here with a bunch of baggage, a bunch of debt, and they think that in 30 days, everything's going to be fixed. It doesn't happen that. I don't care who you are. And every day I see people come in here, they think in 30 days is going to be fixed. It doesn't work. And then they want to they want to go somewhere else. I'm like, plant your flag, say this is going to be it, and go all in, work harder than you've ever done in your entire life, and be where you are. I mean, everyone wants to be where you are, but how many people are willing to do what you've done? And that's what it comes down to. Are you willing to make the sacrifice?
Exactly.
Frank, I want to ask him, we talked about what he's doing, and I think a lot of people, if they would hear you, they would think that's the sauce, right? They would, because we talked about what you're doing. You're using a lot of people in our company that have CRMs. We have one here. Everyone's got one, but people think that it's the dialers that you have, the virtual assistants that you have that are logged into your Go High Level system in texting. But I know it didn't start that way. You had to start without all that stuff to be able to get to that point. How long were you just buying your own leads, dialing them and booking them before you started adding in all the efficiencies that you've added in now? Like, how long were you doing that to be able to get to the point where you are now?
Yeah, good question. So 2022 was when we got the CRM rolling. We kind of got it like it was beat up. I mean, when you get it, it was bare bones. It was nothing.
Right.
And just it took a lot of time to build it. Okay. I am not the creator, just so you guys know that I work with somebody who is the creator, but it was a lot of trial and error. Everything you can think of, every trial, every text
We've been
message.
through it. I
This
get it.
doesn't work. That doesn't work. This works. Okay. Then it's like, okay, bad. Okay. Can't text this. You get Twilio to block you, this and all that stuff. We went through all
Danny
of that.
sounds like us.
Yeah. That's not new. That's normal.
Yeah.
Right. So went through all that stuff over that 22 time frame. And by October, it was like October, November, December was when it was like, okay, we got it. We figured it out. We got it rolling properly. We're, even last year was still in I call it the implementation year.
Yeah.
We were implementing these things.
Yep.
And it still required us, to always have like tweak here, tweak there, change this, move this around. And we kept doing it over and over and over and over again. But because we implemented these things and I was, generally a test dummy on a lot of the things,
That's
pushed,
Jeffy.
right? Because I had to push,
That's Jeffy Shannon.
push, right?
Yeah.
But eventually we kept fine tuning, and now we're just in a duplication year now. Just duplication now at this point.
And it's
Harold,
always
can
tweaking.
you say that again to Frank? Frank asked me the other day. He goes, "Dude, is it going to be done soon?"
Yeah,
I
no.
was like, bro.
Even today, I had a conversation today. Hey, we need to fix this, change that. I was like, oh man, again, not
There you go,
again.
Frank.
Yeah. Well,
It's always evolving.
I get that. Yeah, it's always evolving, right?
Yeah.
But you guys have your base platform just like we do, and but even while all that's going on, right? I mean, you didn't always have dialers or VAs text, like you did all of that work. That's the 6 months,
Yeah.
7 days a week, being involved, texting your clients, potential clients, follow-ups, scheduling stuff. Like that was all you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the most powerful part of this whole call, and that's what I agree, Mike. I think people are going to be like, well, they didn't really give us anything. No, Harold gave us more than you even know. Like in just 10 minutes, you learned enough to go from zero to hero in this business if you really paid attention to what he was saying. And that's why I appreciate it so much, because we have a test dummy. I don't want to call him a test dummy because he's a test smarty. Because that's just bad. But Jesse's been through the same stuff, right? While we were getting this or not we, because I had no parts of building the CRM, but while Mike and Jamie were doing all the stuff they did, like Jesse was just in there, and he never bitched, moaned, and complained. He just kept his hand out and kept going to work, and that's kind of how I view you, Harold, and it's massively important to the agency. What you've done for your group over the last year and a half is so beneficial to everybody that's around you. I don't even know if they know it, but they should be thanking you daily, like we should be with Jesse and obviously you and Mike, Jamie. But it's impressive what you've been able to do. Are you implementing IULs and annuities at all yet, Harold?
Not yet. You know what? I sat with Juan Franco,
Mm-hmm.
Shadi, and Steve G. And again, I'm the guy who goes, "Hey, what you guys doing?" I was like, "Hey, how y'all do it? Tell me about it. I want to hear it. Let me ask some questions." And they were like, "IUL, IUL, IUL." I was like, "All right, cool, bet." Now I
Right?
know. I'm the bug. Hey, who's the best at IUL? Okay, yeah, Juan and Shadi. All right, cool. I'm gonna bug you like crazy.
Yep.
But again, it's not that I'm not doing anything nobody else could do.
Yeah.
You could ask anybody and everybody questions. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get knowledge, extract as much knowledge as I can. Yo, how do I do this? How do I do that? What do I do here? What do I do there? Anybody and everybody could do that.
Harold, with everyone on this call, if they went out and bought a stack of aged mortgage protection, tell them exactly if they bought a stack of leads, how do they call them? What do they say on aged leads so they can all buy them tomorrow and start rolling? What
Yeah,
do they say?
absolutely. So no CRM.
No CRM. Let's go. Let's start it
Got it.
at basics.
So and it's funny, this is not original. Again, I found this, I don't know whose it was, somebody's phone call on YouTube. So what he did, what he said was, and what I do is I call them and go, "I'm calling you regarding your mortgage protection form that you had filled out. I apologize that it's taken us so long to get to you." That's it. Once you apologize, nobody wants to hang up on you. Crazy. I was like, wait, I was like watching this video. I was like, wait, I'm sorry that it took us so long. I apologize. As you know, past few years, everything went crazy. We got flipped upside down, kicked out of the office. All of our stuff is all over the place. We're just doing a quick audit. Want to make sure that we didn't miss you. You didn't fall through the crack. Are you still at 123 Main Street? Okay. And the original mortgage balance, it was 250,000. I know you've paid it down. What is the current balance at right now? Boom. Already have the information that I need.
Mm.
If they have a spouse on there, now okay, the co-borrower is this, okay? Or is there a co-borrower, or is it just you? Okay. Any refinances within the last 2 years or anything like that? Any changes? No? Okay, great. Move on and keep going. Either I'm gonna schedule the appointment, okay? If they, again, do you have, go ahead and grab pen and paper. It should only take me about 15 minutes. You can take this call right now, right? Oh no, your spouse isn't available? Not a problem. Is your spouse at work, running some errands, out and about right now? Oh, they're at work. Okay, got it. What time do you expect your spouse home? 5:30. Fantastic. What I'll do is I'll give you a call about between 6 and 6:30. That way your spouse has enough time to settle in. Okay. So I'll go ahead and call you then. Bam. So I'm not asking them what time I should call. What time do you expect your spouse to be home? Cool. I'm gonna call you then. Also, when people say, "Oh, what time is your spouse gonna be home?" I don't know, right? Usually that's the response sometimes. But if you give them something, are they running errands? Are they, with the kids right now? Are they at work or something like that? What people's natural reaction is to correct you, right? So people naturally will want to correct me and go, "Oh, no, 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 she's at the grocery store." Oh, okay, great. So what time do you expect her to be home? About just like my spouse, probably an hour. Okay. At Costco, make it 2. Okay. So not a problem. I'll give you a call, whatever time that, and I'm telling them I will give you a call at this time, expect a phone call, make sure your spouse knows, and we'll go from there.
So is your goal one call close on every call unless spouse or something's going on that you have to call them back?
Yes, that is the objective. If the objective number one is the appointment, the conversation, it has to be in my favor. Okay. And what I mean by that is if if the spouse isn't there, that's not in my favor. That's in theirs because they can just go, "I need to talk to my spouse. See you later. Bye." Right.
Right.
I don't want that. It's not going to happen. If they're driving, that's not in my favor. hey, I want you to drive safe. I do not want to be the reason an accident happens. I don't want that on my conscience. Let's, what time will you be at your destination? How many more minutes do you have driving? Okay, cool. 30. All right, I'll give you a call then. Okay. So anytime it's not in my favor, I'm rescheduling. It's just not, I'm not doing that appointment. That doesn't make any sense, right? If they have all their different reasons out, like, they have their outs, they have their reasons to be able to, oh, my spouse, oh, I'm driving, oh, I don't have a pen and paper. Let's, oh, I'm at my mom's house right now. We're just, I'm just doing a couple of things. Go ahead and talk. I can hear you. Like, oh, no, we're not doing
No.
that. Not doing that. I need your undivided attention. Hey, I'll give you the quick version. There is no quick version. I give you the same version every time, but I will tell you, hey, not a problem. I'll give you the quick version. Not a problem. Go ahead and grab pen and paper. Have a seat.
Who's your go-to carrier for mortgage protection?
Varies. I did write a lot of mutual and Aetna this last year.
IULE or TLE?
TLE, a lot of TLE actually, really a lot of TLE.
Cashback, no cashback.
Both mixture depending on the client's budget. That's all everything I do is all based on the client's budget. Whichever carrier gives me the best rate, cool, I'm running with it.
How much out of all the policies you write, what would you say the percentage is like full mortgage protection, or how much is critical time period protection where you're doing a lot of final
Payment?
expense and those type of things?
Fun fact, I was the #1 Aetna producer for all of Aetna,
There
period,
you go.
nationwide.
That is
Wow.
freaking massive. The
So-
biggest thing that people have, they start getting involved with mortgage protection, but they think they need to cover the whole mortgage. And look how much Aetna, and final expense you're writing, because
Yeah.
that's not the case. Our goal is to help them, cover that situation if they were to die. It doesn't have to be the full amount.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, as long as you paint the picture correctly, you're fine. It's just
I
all
love
about
it.
painting the picture.
And what does that mean when you say paint the picture so they know?
So basically, what I'll do is my question that I ask everybody is, Mike, just, help me understand the situation a little further. Who's going to be the one picking up the pieces when you pass away? Who will be taking care of the home? Brother, sister, cousin, uncle, aunt. Okay, whatever it may be, right? So if let's say it's a spouse, let's say it's their brother, because spouse is easy. You already know what to do there. Let's say it's their brother or their sister. Not a problem. Mike, does your brother live nearby? No. Yes, no, no. Does he have a family? Yeah, he does. Got it. How far does he live? About an hour away? Okay. Do you think your brother would uproot his family, take his kids out of the school district to move into your house if you passed away? No? Okay. Got it. So what do you think the plan would be? Would he keep it, sell it, rent it? What do you think? Probably rent it. Okay, great. So basically your brother just needs some time, right?
Love it.
Cool. So now we've already established just needs time. That's it. So like I was saying earlier, your brother's not gonna move in. He's not gonna. You want his kids to hate him? They're gonna move to a whole nother school district,
Right.
hate your parents. They're not gonna do that. That's why when they have a family, would your brother uproot his whole entire family, move out of the school district to move into your house? Nah.
Before the CRM and the dialers, how many calls a day were you making?
So back the last company, it was like a 250 dial game. So it was like $250 or 10 appointments. That was always like the strategy. $250, 10 appointments, $250, 10 appointments. But I mean, at a certain point, I mean, when you're in the beginning, you don't even count. A lot of times I don't count. Don't count till it hurts, right? Just keep going, and then when it hurts, you're like, all right, let me start counting now. Because again, when you have a goal in mind, it doesn't matter what the cost is,
Right.
right? You have to don't count the cost. It is what it is. The minute you actually start counting the cost is when it hurts, and then you start to have resentment. I'm not going to count the cost. I have a goal. It's going to take me a lot of effort to get there because I want to get there faster, right? I don't want to be like Monday through Friday. This is what I need. Nah, that's not going to work. I got to do this fast.
How much a week do you spend on leads?
Usually 2,000 to 3,000.
2,000 to 3,000 a week, and which is, I mean, that's nothing to write what you wrote. What's your weekly goal in submit?
20,000.
20,000 a
Very
week.
minimum. It's not necessarily that I'm looking at a minimum, like as far as AP, because applications gets you more AP. So
Okay.
when you look at it on an application standpoint, which is what I usually 4 apps a day, 4 apps a day, 4 apps a day is what I'm pushing for. I know I'm gonna hit a specific number, and sometimes it'll be way more
Sure.
than I need to. And because if you look at an AP standpoint, a lot of agents, the minute they have a $5,000 or 5 policy day, they're kind of like, oh, all
Yeah.
right, I'm done.
Hit the
Oh,
AP for a day.
yeah,
I love that.
you're like, I'm
It's-
done. And it was 2
Yeah,
apps. You're like, that's 2 apps. That's not gonna cut it. We
four
got to
apps a
keep
day.
going. Yeah, you go 4 apps a day. Again, you can adjust this in accordance to your lead spend and your time, of course, and scale up. That's it. Everybody
Yeah,
kept telling me that in the beginning. Scale up, do something and then scale up. Do something and then scale up. I was like, okay, cool. I could do that. It was like leads. Buy leads, get a certain amount of leads, scale up. Scale up, scale up, scale up, scale up. That's all it is.
yeah.
And then lead strategy wise, I'm gonna give you this one for lead strategy wise. I never gave myself more than I think it was, well, at this point it's different because of the CRM system, but I never gave myself more than 100 leads a day to work in addition. Okay. What I mean by that is you would buy in the beginning. This was in the beginning when I'm, again, calling all stuff. I'd get 100 leads a day for myself. Okay. I would buy it. Sure. I'd buy it all at one time. When the code comes out, WorkSpots code, cool. I'm going to use it so I can get a lot of leads. But what I would do is every single day I would introduce more leads to myself. So Monday I'd get 100 leads, rip through 100 leads, rip through 100 leads. Because the thing is, if I try to call 500,
Yeah.
I would never go back to 1. It would never happen. Right. So I'd get 100 leads, rip through that. Tomorrow, Tuesday happens. I add another 100 to my pile and I still have my old pile. So I'm ripping through those again. Now I'm ripping through those. Now it's a smaller number, right? It's 200 or less because obviously, booked appointments, not a bit, Then Wednesday happens, another 100 again, and then another 100 again on Thursday, and then another 100 on Friday. So I would mentally trick myself into, oh, I'm getting more leads tomorrow. I'm getting more leads tomorrow. I'm getting more leads. So I knew that, I got to rip through these because I got more coming in tomorrow. And I would just keep pushing myself, and keep getting more and keep getting more instead of looking at like, oh, dang, I got 500 leads to call. This is going to take me forever. I
Right.
just focused on 100 at a time and added to my pile.
I know we're running a little over. I got a question for you. What did you always do aged, or were you trying to do new mortgage at first?
So when we again, CRM is what changed a lot of this stuff for us. So mind you, I did try new. Okay, I didn't like new. Why? Because I'm Asian. They're expensive. I'm cheap. It is what it is. I'm gonna be cheap.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
I was like, all right, $80 lead,
I remember those days.
or I get 40 aged. I'm gonna go 40 aged, man. I got 40 chances instead of that one chance.
Bro,
That
that's
one chance
huge.
says no.
Oh
I'm
my
like, I'm
goodness.
out $80. Not gonna happen.
I
Let me
love
go.
it, man.
Let me go 40 aged and see what happens. At least I have 40 times that I can, because all I need is one, right?
Massive.
If I go 40 and I make a mistake on 20 of them, I'm still good.
Yeah.
You know, I still got more chances. That's all
Are
it
they
really is.
call in lead? It doesn't matter. Call in the direct mails. It doesn't matter which ones they are.
So I did everything I did last year was all aged mortgage mailers. That was
Okay.
it. The bronze and the silver, and that was it.
I mean,
And then when Mike was like, "What did you really run?" I was like, "Bronze and
that's
silver."
what
What do you mean? I was like,
there's almost 96,000 $2 mortgage leads in the ILC right now.
yeah,
45,000 $3 leads
yeah.
in the ILC right now.
I feel like I gotta keep this a secret. Everybody gonna start
Yeah.
buying.
I
But
told
here's the
everyone
thing.
we were going to give
But
the secret.
yeah, we've been giving the secret out since day one, and it's like a handful of people actually take it and do it. Plus, this works with final expense leads. It can work with aged IUL lead. It can work with any leads. It's really what you've done in it with your schedule, your work ethic, your attitude. I mean,
Yeah,
I hear you. We used to go like, well, we're going to keep this to ourselves, but it doesn't
yeah.
matter. We can give it to everybody. It's like
Most people won't do it. Most.
when we
Overwhelming
play
You can't buy them
majority will
football,
all.
not
Harold,
do it.
You
when we
can't
play
buy all of them.
football, we would tell you the play we're going to run. We're going to run pro right gun or 34 power. It does. I'm going to tell you what we're going to run, and you're not going to stop us. We're going to run it better than me. That's kind of how I feel about this. I'll tell you
Yeah,
exactly what I'm doing, and I hope you can do better than me, but you're not because you're not going to outwork me. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I appreciate you. This has been phenomenal. I know
Huge.
I've gotten texts
Oh
going.
my.
I need this
I
recording. I
work a
need
lot
this
of states,
recording.
by the way. So I saw a question here. I work all the states. I have 49 states or something like that. I don't really care where the state is. It doesn't really matter. It's the time zone that matters, right? Depending on my schedule. I'll just look at the leads and be like, there's not much here. All right, whatever. I'll just go pick this state. It's cool. Who cares? There's no such
Yeah.
thing as a bad state. There's no such, it doesn't really matter,
This is
right? At
this
the
is
end of the
probably
day.
one of the best calls that we had because
Agreed.
you broke it down to where anyone can do it. We have a
Yeah.
lot of people that come here with, different things that I think a brand new agent can't do, but what you shared with anyone, literally anyone, day one can do exactly what you did today, and that's why this call is so powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
One thing with age too. So I get this question frequent too. Why aged? Okay. Well, number one, nobody else is working them. So it's just me. Okay. When they're brand new, in that first 3 to 6 months, they're still getting calls. When they're brand new, especially, they're still getting calls. Okay. By the time I get them, nobody's calling them anymore at all whatsoever. Okay. They've completely forgot about it. Okay. And or they might have talked to somebody and said, "Oh, it was $400 a month. Of course I didn't want it." I'm like, no, that doesn't make any sense. You actually set the budget. Was that the budget that you had set? And they're like, no. And I'm like, yeah, the way that it works is you set the budget and we create a plan in accordance to that. And they're like, oh, nobody ever told me that. Great. Or I was thinking about it, never got around to it. Oh, not a problem. I'll go ahead and take care of that for you right now. Let's go ahead and talk.
Do you care how aged, Harold? You care how old they are?
I've written 3 to 5 year old leads.
Man, this call's strong.
Yeah,
it is.
3 to 5. We just tried it. We tried it to see if it was gonna work. We were like, let's try these. I was like, all right, whatever, I'll try it. And I ran it, and it took a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right. It did take a little more,
The
but
leads were cheaper though.
yeah, of course, way cheaper. But it did take a little more, but it still worked. And I was, I still went back to the silver and the bronze though.
That's
Hey,
Because I was like, I don't have
Did
the,
you
I don't have
see-
let's
see
not
that
mess.
message just popped up? Jacob Bruns bought 80 silver this mortgage, ran them through our CRM, 5 of them self-booked appointments, which
There you
is
go.
that is the Harold secret right there. He runs his leads through the CRM, which we all do have. And so Jacob, I appreciate you posting it up, brother. Jacob's one of the early adopters as well of the CRM. So
Yeah, all you got to do is scale now.
awesome.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Hey, that's actually what he does. You buy 1,000 leads a week, run them through the CRM, let the gravy book themselves, and then have your VAs call the rest. Powerful system, man. I love it.
Mhm.
Thank you, Harold.
Thank you, man. This
Appreciate
was
you
a
guys.
great freaking call. Harold, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, everyone. We'll see you guys next Monday at 6 o'clock. Let's crush it this week. Let's finish strong for the month. Harold, thank you, man.